Hi. These past days, I've been spending my time mostly at the OFFF festival here in Barcelona. Maybe many of you saw many of the people being at the festival. I wanted to create this to, first of all, showcase what it's like a festival like this. Second, to think of what's the worth of this type of gatherings or festivals. And the third point, it was around what happens if you can't attend the festival because of your location, because of you can't afford it, or whatever the reason is. Things that I think we all could do pretty much in our base location. So the festival, this one in particular, is one I've seen many times when I was back in Uruguay 10 years ago, and I saw the festival has 25 years, and I saw many people attending the festival, and I saw the talks and the speakers, people I was following, saw as this big thing that one day I wanted to attend. For me, it was impossible to do this based in Uruguay. One, because I didn't have the money to travel abroad. Well, that's pretty much the reason. When I got here, 2022, I got here in March. The next May, went there. I went by myself. I actually created a video, a blog of that experience, which was showcasing my first-hand experience into being in this festival. To portray what is it. In this case, there are 3 days of a lot of speakers on 4 stages, I think, and thousands of people attending. Okay, it's in the Design Museum, Barcelona, which is I think is a beautiful place, and it has an inside part and an outside part. The inside part is mostly for ticket holders, and the outside part is half and half. Okay, what the festival offers, it's the talks mainly, then some master classes, which are people that are, for example, complicated by Adobe or other brands, showing new features of stuff in the software or their process. And also workshops. That is an option that you can pay extra for workshop, and there was a bunch, 6 or 7 of them during the 3 days. It also has, the outside area also has food trucks and has 2 big screens where they project what they happening to the main stages inside, and a lot of people just chill there, and some of those talks you can attend even without being a ticket holder. So the people around there, normal people live in Barcelona, they might not attend the full festival, still go there, and you can see many talks there and be in the food trucks and the area, the social area. So that's pretty much summarizing the main generality of the festival. This one is quite expensive one, I think. I think the cheapest you can get is 250 euros for the 3 days, but then that's the early bird, and then the price goes up. So I wanted to go to the second point, which was pretty much to attend this type of festivals, or what's their worth actually. So first point in that is the talks. Some of them might be great, some of them might be not even insightful, some of them might be a studio or a professional sharing their work, but sometimes it's work that you can see on their sites, or there is a bit more to it, but still, of course, as every speaker in any type of talk of presentation, you might find people that is really good presenting, and other people there is not, and that's completely fine, because of course, in this case, for example, you see a lot of people with decades of experience, and some people that are less experienced, or at least they don't have the experience to present something in such a big audience. I think that happens with every type of talk, presentation, festival, TED, whatever. That's something, at least I don't think that the organizers can control that much on that. I mean, you can control in a way, but you won't only want to give access to give a talk to seasoned professionals. You might want to see also some fresh new faces. The point is that usually, from my perspective, the talks are not enough, because first of all, it's impossible as a human being, I think, to be the 3 days attending talks all the time. It's pretty much what I did the first year, but still you are really tired at some point and you can't take more information, I think. But that's my experience. Some of you might not agree on this. So what's left in the festival? You have some experiences, you have also a little market there, you have other things around, but the main thing is the socials, talking with other people. That's a hard thing to do when you don't know anyone at a festival. Well, at least for the people who are more introverts and wouldn't approach someone out of the blue to say hello. So a lot of people do it, but some other people might not be comfortable in that. And it's such a big crowd because really thousands of people there. That makes it even like harder because you see a lot of people going here and there in their own things and with their own groups and saying hi to this and this, and you can feel like quite alone there. It's like I don't know anyone. At least this festival could do a bit more into grouping up small gatherings. A lot of people do it on the side. There's like people organizing creative like brunches or lunches and stuff, but by the nature of it, if you organize something on the side, it's hard to control how many people it's going to come. So usually it's like really small gatherings that are just inviting one or two, and then sometimes some people tell others and they'll go, but it's still a private thing, more or less. Yeah, I do believe that it could be a bit more of like the festival itself generating more of these spaces. Back to the socials, I think that's like pretty much the main point of going to a festival, having the opportunity of having so many people coming from some different countries, because at OFF especially, it's probably one of the most like globalized, I think, festivals. You see people from all the continents and many people you follow around that you didn't even knew they were going to be there, and you get to know them and you get to talk with people, and that's for me it's 100% the main point. That is like the main worth of this festival especially, but also it could be the worth of many other festivals. And we realized the microphone was going so down here. But yes, I mean, where was I? Oh, the gathering, like the side events are a great space to get to know like a smaller gathering, but it still gives the opportunity to know many other people, and then I think it makes the whole festival even better, because if you have a side event, for example, the first day, then you go to it and the next day and you will see the same faces and stuff. That is probably the most important thing. So I want to get to the last point, the third point, which was what I think you can be doing if you can't attend a festival like this. Because, for example, thinking in me back in Uruguay, where I couldn't afford to come here, and also was like a really long trip. The first of all, I guess, to check all the festivals and where they are. And sometimes you surprisingly find there's a festival next year closer to your place. That might be the case. And sometimes when you see like a year in advance and you plan for it, you can afford it because it's something that you can maybe do a trip to that place and then afford the ticket, and then I don't know, like I will give it a try at least. Probably when I was back there, I could try to go, for example, Argentina. It was a festival there which was closer for me, so I will at least try that. The second point is to look for gatherings like meetups or stuff. There are many running in different cities in the world, and I think they still have in a nutshell a bit of that experience. Of course, not as globalized or whatever as you won't find in a festival, but still having that approach, I think it's still a good step. By the way, many of the people listening to this, maybe you, don't feel comfortable into getting into a crowd without knowing anyone. But what happens usually in meetups or this type of gatherings is that many other people in the same place, maybe majority of the people, it's actually in the same place as you are. So I know it's hard, but you can, for example, try to go be one of the first ones going, because you will find like the organizers and some others, and it's way easier to approach people when you're 10 in the room than when it's like 100 or 50 or whatever the gathering is. By the way, when I mentioned meetup, I actually mentioned the site meetup.com, just in case some of you don't know it, and also Eventbrite. In Eventbrite, a lot of people organize also gatherings and stuff, sometimes free, sometimes for a cheap ticket because it's like to pay the organization, or sometimes they might be an organization getting money from it, but still it might be cheaper for you and you might find a good opportunity there. The next one, which I know for some of you might find hard to do it, like organizing something. And I'm not saying that you have to organize like a festival, of course, or even a meetup or something like that, but you could organize a lunch with another peer and maybe 2 more, and then you're 4 of you, and then those 4 of you, maybe you become 10 at some point. And I know many cases of like gatherings or meetups that are been running for a while that started like that. They started like only a few people meeting in a place, having lunch or dinner bar, as you will do with other friends, or a park even. You don't need even to spend money organizing. You can do like in a park if you have rooftop or whatever. So I do believe that there is space like for the gatherings being a smaller approach. And actually one insight I had talk with many people at OFF is of this willpower, of this need also to actually attend smaller talks, smaller gatherings, smaller just being there. It's really nice just spending time with other people, sharing your struggles, and maybe you might have friends that do this, or maybe you don't. Here you will have some of those conversations that probably you've been thinking around, having like a back and forth with others. Yeah, think if you have like a bunch of other people, or post on Instagram like who else is like motion designer or whatever in your location, and surprisingly sometimes people like reach out and say hi, and then you have, even if you're 2 of you, 3 of you, whatever, you can start actually meeting others and start to still roll the ball on this, like seeing face to face, because I do believe, and even if I do this online, seeing face to face other people and having these conversations is like the maximum point of interaction between peers, between people, between human beings. So even having an online call, it's a thing already, because you see how people talk and the gestures and stuff, which is actually a big percentage of communication after all. But seeing face to face is really another point into that interaction. So I always encourage, it might be really hard for you to approach others or be in gatherings. If you at some point you have the energy to make the effort to do it, you won't regret it. Because even if you do it and you don't meet that many people, still you had the experience of going to a place with the conversations in the same field that you might not have in other places. And I think you become a better human, hence a better professional, hence a better motion designer overall, by talking with other people, get inspired with the talk, with the one-on-one. And also like sometimes like the talks, the presentations that you there are many presentations that really show you their struggle, for example, and that makes it actually more human, and you feel closer, more relatable, and you may feel inspired or achieving a next level in your technical work. So thanks again for being around here. Actually, there's one thing, and I'm going to start these next weeks, which is called the practice file. This is an ad, so you can stop here, but still within the newsletter I want to create like a group of practice on fundamentals, and have like a new challenge each month, and then have a group where you can share your work and others comment on it, me included, but others too. Yeah, I'd like to hold us accountable and having a place to share work, and then I will make like compilations of like the projects I get. Here like a small reel of a showcase within the project, like within the Potion Social Club. If you're interested, actually, it would be great that you commented below, so I see some of the interest, and if I keep following this idea. Have a good day.